Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanut Pradam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I'll join within 2 minutes. I'll just.
Sure, sure.
Recording in progress.
Am I audible, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Thank you very much. You can allow me to share, Prabhu.
Uh, I think your video device has admin access, host access. Let me change that to the non-video device.
Yeah. Because I have the Kindle version available on the laptop as well. So that due to that, I have to share that.
Yes, Prabhuji. Your laptop Zoom has host access now.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. Right. Okay. I'll wait for another 2 minutes, Prabhu. You can start. Prabhuji, Mataji.
हाँ ये लोग अगर हम लोग
ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिविकासस्वामिते नामिने। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिते नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वतीदेवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हुक्म करके वाचन श्री चैतन्येश्वर भागीशायस्य वदने लक्ष्मी यस्य सवक्षसि यस्य आस्ते हृदये सम्पदं। पूर्वे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाय तदाय कृष्णाय कृष्णाय योऽन्त प्रविश्य मम वाचम्मां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वतां। अन्यां शास्त्रचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो निजगुरु हरिवाण्या कृष्णचित्तो विचिन्तो परेतविगेह संसार भजमुस्कापमजिन् सांसक्षु भुजैत विकास। Hare Krishna. Am I audible to devotees?
यस प्रभु जी।
Okay. Okay. So we are going to start to read. So we are reading from part 1, chapter 1.
See, it's between
The section we are continuing to read is from epistemology and hermeneutics. Epistemology and hermeneutics. Basically, Srila Prabhupada's teachings are not difficult to ascertain, for he deliberately presented them in a manner that was anything but ambiguous. This quote is from C. Footnote is no unnecessary abstrusities. Nevertheless, there are contending interpretation of certain of Srila Prabhupada's instructions, and hence questions arise as to who is qualified to adjudicate, educate, adjudicate what constitutes Srila Prabhupada's mission and what is best for it, and according to what criteria, especially considering that within this world, all but a few rare souls are subject to the defects of Brahma, Pramada, Vipralipsa, and Karna Patava. The tendencies to make mistakes, to be illusioned, to cheat, and to have defective perception. So see Chaitanya Charitamrita 1286 17108. To address these queries, epistemology and hermeneutics are necessary, as in understanding all spiritual teachers and their doctrines. So, did anybody get what is told here? So here Maharaj is writing that there are many interpretations of certain Srila Prabhupada's instructions, and questions arise: who is qualified to adjudicate what constitutes Srila Prabhupada's mission and what is best for it, and according to what criteria, especially considering that within this world all but a few are subject to defects. So in order to address all those queries, epistemology and hermeneutics is necessary, and all spiritual teachers and their doctrines. So to understand what constitutes proper mission, we need to understand this particular epistemology and hermeneutics is very, very important to be understood. Okay. The basics of all philosophy and indeed of all systematic knowledge is epistemology, the study of knowledge and how it is acquired. So this is epistemology. So the basics of all philosophy and indeed also is epistemology. What is epistemology? Is the study of knowledge and how it is acquired. The way we choose to look at things largely determines what we see. Hermeneutics concerns theories and methods of interpretation. So there's one more definition. Both epistemology and hermeneutics are major and complex subjects that are at the root of all theology and theological contention, especially intradisciplinary disputes. That is, those within a religious tradition. Among Srila Prabhupada's followers, the lack of widely understood and accepted epistemic and hermeneutic construct is a principal yet largely unrecognized factor in most of the many ongoing disputes regarding Srila Prabhupada's teachings and their practical application. Assembling such a construct specific to Srila Prabhupada and his teachings that is universally accepted as authoritative by his followers remains an important but possibly elusive task to be undertaken by his scholarly followers, some initial attempts notwithstanding. A hermeneutic system for the study of Srila Prabhupada's teachings would have to be exhaustive to be acceptable by Vedic scholars and other scholars of religion. Obviously, in such an endeavor, Srila Prabhupada's own teachings on this subject should be made known. But the starting point would be to re-establish the perfect epistemological basis, the aporishayatva of the Vedas. So epistemology means the aporishayatva principle. This is epistemology of the Vedas. The claim that they are not originated in or been imparted by any created being and are thus eternal and infallible. Next would be to incorporate the traditional methods of Vedic exegesis according to the principles of Mimamsa and Nyaya analysis as accepted by all Vedic schools. Further required would be a specific study of Vaishnava and especially Gaudiya treatises on epistemology and hermeneutics, beginning with Srila Jiva Goswami's Tattva Sandarbha. All these, all these together with the teachings of previous acharyas would need to be shown to constitute. Sorry. All these together with the teachings of the previous acharyas would need to be shown to constitute the basis of Srila Prabhupada's instructions. Unique in the history of such studies would be consideration of Srila Prabhupada's ministration in a language far removed from Sanskrit, including his several neologisms and his idiosyncratic use of many English terms. Did anybody get this? What is this? Neologisms and his idiosyncratic use of many English terms.
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu.
Did anybody get what is neologisms and his idiosyncratic use of
Yes,
many
Prabhu.
English terms?
Prabhu, this is Vamshali Das. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu.
Welcome
Yes.
to our sessions.
Neologisms means where Srila Prabhupada has used some words in has actually made new words.
Yeah.
And the idiosyncratic use means like using existing words with giving a new meaning. And there is it is not wrong. The idiosyncratic use does not mean it's a wrong use. It is just unique.
Yeah.
Like
So
how
I can give.
yes.
Thank you very much. So neologisms means I can give example of Srila Prabhupada's one particular example. The Prabhupada didn't define Krishna as God. Prabhupada defined Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead. This is the term which Prabhupada invented it in one sense. This is one of the neologisms. And idiosyncratic use of terms means Prabhupada fall down. Fall down is nothing but down means fall. Fall means down. But the word fall down. And he used another word called bloop. So these are the idiosyncratic use of. So am I right, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you. So we'll continue to read. Hope everybody gets it. I think everybody is getting what we are trying to read. What Maharaj is mentioning here. However, although philosophy and theology require such rigorous procedures, the pursuit of philosophy and theology need not wait until such methodologies are established. Indeed, much of the world's influential philosophy and theology has been formed without prior recourse to recondite epistemics and hermeneutics, which often follow in the wake of major ideological initiatives. Another crucial point is that even the most elaborately constructed system of epistemology or hermeneutics, if the product of imperfect minds, cannot be completely watertight or beyond criticism. And that the Vedas and the great acharyas are indeed perfect, and being beyond human defects is not appreciated by humans who are defective to the extent that they have no faith in the Vedas. Even serious students of the Vedas who are still materially conditioned are prone to incompletely or incorrectly comprehend the perfect knowledge therein. The Vaishnava solution to this conundrum of that means of apparently circular reasoning, as evidenced in many Shastric statements. Example, Bhagavad Gita 10:11, Srimad Bhagavatam 10:14-29, and Yasya Devi Parabha. So, what is 10:11? Can anybody raise their hands and tell what is 10th chapter, 10th verse and 11th verse? Not Vamshuli Prabhu. Any other devotees? Should not see the Vedas.
It's a very nice verse. Yeah.
No, if you are telling,
Dadami buddhi yogam tam. Dadami buddhi yogam tam.
What is the shloka? 10:10.
10th.
No, don't see the book. Any other?
Tesham satata yuktanam.
तेषां सततयुक्ता
Yes. Tejam satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam. Dadami buddhi yogam.
ददामि बुद्धिं
What is the 11th verse? Anybody? Anybody else?
तेषाम् एवं कम्पार्थम् अहम् अज्ञानजनितः तमः नाशयाम्यहं ज्ञानदीपेन भास्वता.
Yeah, very good. What is Srimad Bhagavatam? 1 second. Oh, Krishna. Oh. Srimad Bhagavatam 10, 14, 29. Maybe we have to check. Can anybody volunteer? 10, 14?
Yes, Prabhuji.
What is that?
Yes. I 1 second. स्थापिते देवपादाम्बुजद्वया
प्रसादलेशानुग्रहीत एव हि जानाति तत्त्वं भगवन्महिम्नो न चान्येकोऽपि चिरन्तु. Okay. So you can read your translations yourself. So we'll continue to read. The Vaishnava solution to this conundrum of apparently circular reasoning, as evidence in many Shastric statements, is that transcendental knowledge is revealed to the sincere candidate by the descent of divine grace upon him. Therefore, his divine grace, Srila Prabhupada, emphasized the primacy of faith in the Guru as the bestower of such divine grace. Srila Prabhupada also emphasized that to comprehend the Supreme Pure requires purity on the part of the comprehender. He therefore insisted that his disciples strictly, in the footnotes, strictly means a word he often used in this connection, adhere to the principles of sadhana bhakti by regularly rising early, chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, and so forth. Like most Vedic teachers, Srila Prabhupada largely sidestepped intricate epistemic discussions by basing his instruction on implicit acceptance of the axiomatic nature of the Vedas. What is the axiomatic nature of the Vedas? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Anybody, what is the axiomatic nature of the Vedas?
Axiomatic means we cannot challenge, Prabhu, just like in mathematics.
Okay. What is that nature? Okay, that we know axiomatic means it is called as Swata Praman. Axiomatic means Swata Praman. What is the axiomatic nature of the Vedas? Aporishetva. It is non-humanly. Yeah, it is as previously Maharaj has said. So that is what is there. The whole discussion is about that, is about aporishetva of the Vedas. That is the axiomatic nature of Vedas. Also, an important factor in Srila Prabhupada's epistemology was the experiential phalena parishayati. The proof of the pudding is in the eating. See, showering bliss. In other words, Krishna consciousness is simple for the simple, but it is very hard for the crooked. So this is from lecture 26 December 1969. Those who are sincere will find the right thread. Those who are crooked are liable to cheat others and even themselves, even while imagining that they are serving Srila Prabhupada and his mission of Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada gave a cohesive and practical philosophy, the Vedic philosophy, clear and consistent in its conclusions. Understanding Srila Prabhupada's basic philosophic teachings is straightforward in as much as he presented the standard Siddhanta of the Gaudiya Acharyas, for which the hermeneutics have been worked out long ago. An exception is in the matter of the origin of the jiva, regarding which it is widely contended. Srila Prabhupada at least superficially sometimes differed from the conclusions of previous authorities. Another difficulty in the minds of many devotees is Srila Prabhupada's insistence on the literality of Vedic cosmographic descriptions, which are largely irrecognizable, irreconcilable with those of modern science. Irreconcilable. Yeah, what I'm reading. Irreconcilable with those of modern science. See two pivotal issues, life and cosmology. Okay. However, differences of opinion often arise in understanding how to practically apply that philosophy. For in the course of Srila Prabhupada's ministration, it was not uncommon that he varied his stance on the same issue at different times, in different circumstances, and to different people. Sometimes he even made apparently contradictory statements. Certain instructions were meant for individual, others for the world. Because I instruct one person one way, does that mean it is for everybody? This is from Secretary's letter, 3rd January 1975. He instructed each individual differently according to where they were, who they were, what they could absorb, what they couldn't, and what the time frame was. So, Shruti Rupa Devidasi in Vedabase, and the other quote is, time frame can be understood as the phase the moment was in. Much difference can be seen in Srila Prabhupada's mode of instruction in 1977 as compared to 1966. See gradualism. Sometimes what he said was for the moment, sometimes forever. So as best we can, we need to recognize not only the content, but the intent behind Srila Prabhupada's words. This section is a little bit longer, so I would request Paunchali Prabhu to continue from here, if he's there.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes.
Consider, for example, these various instructions. This Sankirtan or street chanting must go on. It is our most important program. Now, the most important point is to recruit life members, as many as possible. The references are given below, 32 and 33.
Yeah.
The letter from February 1971. In 1971, he's saying Sankirtan or street chanting must go on. And 33 is most important point. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Prabhu, continue.
So now I very much appreciate your activities for conducting our school, and I consider your work the most important in the society. 34. I consider this Mayapur project to be our most important work. 35. This is in 72, 1972.
This is from the
Then,
letter 28 June 1972.
yes, Prabhu. The most important thing is that you must follow all the rules and regulations very strictly. This is from 36. This is from a letter dated 26 May 1975. And then there is no doubt about it, to distribute books is our most important activity. 37. Letter from 3rd August 1973. Clearly, what Srila Prabhupada chose to emphasize as quote unquote most important differed according to the time, circumstances, and whom he was addressing. Such apparent ambivalence is quite acceptable in the Shastric tradition. For instance, Bhishma Deva's instructions regarding charity, as recorded in the Mahabharata, ascribe the highest importance to both the giving of gold and of cows. Similarly, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna progressively offers higher levels of confidential knowledge. To accept this multivalency might require an epistemological paradigm shift for persons ensconced in preconceived notions of how the world must be. Also, to consider also to be considered is that some of Srila Prabhupada's ideas were more like suggestions or possibilities rather than solid plans, inasmuch as he neither spoke much about them nor made any endeavor at that time to implement them. In brackets, an example is his statement about making Mayapur a separate nation. And there's a reference to volume 3, pages 539 to 540 for more detail on this particular point. Continuing, furthermore, some of his plans were not high priority. They were discussed but not consistently and persistently advocated, nor widely instituted. In brackets, for instance, quote unquote Hare Krishna dolls. This does not mean that such ideas were unimportant, but gives some indication of their relative importance. And some of Srila Prabhupada's plans were not solid plans at all. Karandara Das, an early leader, recalled. Sometimes he would postulate ideas for the sake of discussion, reflection, consideration, although sometimes they would seem to employ very specific ideas and even orders. Because I can remember at first, after these discussions, I would go out and immediately try and implement something. And I would come back to Prabhupada with some response or update. And he would say, quote, no, it wasn't my idea that you immediately try and do this, but in the future, or if the time is right, end quote. Another significant consideration is that Srila Prabhupada did not have a fixed plan when he went to America.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu, please go ahead.
You can read little bit slowly because you're familiar with English and then going. It is little bit fast, I suppose. So you can little bit slow down, and you can. Otherwise, people they are not able to catch up. I mean,
Sure, Prabhu.
yeah.
Another significant consideration is that Srila Prabhupada did not have a fixed plan when he went to America. His was a vaguely defined mission, in quotes. There is a reference 39. This is the volume 2, page 458. Oh, I see, on Dr. Thomas Hopkins' foreword to Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit, volume 2. He first studied the situation and even after starting his mission in earnest, often made adjustments and introduced new strategies. There is a reference here also. See Gradualism, page 612. Some of his earlier directions were superseded by later ones. For example, in 1972, he wrote, quote, according to our Vedic system, prasada distribution should not be on the line of a hotel or canteen business. Whatever prasada we can distribute should be done free of charge. End quote. Yet later, Srila Prabhupada himself promoted the establishment of prasada restaurants on a payment basis. Reference to 41. letter from 12th April 1972. Oh, yes, Prabhu. I see there's a minor difference here, yet 40 and 41. The next reference as well, Prabhu. 190.
Okay.
This is
So you
from
can read it.
1977.
Okay.
Just contrasting the differences, Prabhu.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhu. Would you like to say something about?
No. Continue.
Although Srila Prabhupada presented what is often referred to as quote unquote timeless knowledge, some of his statements, even in his books, were particularly relevant to the time, place, and circumstance in which he wrote them. Reference to 42. Time, place, and circumstance. Example, letter from 4th November 1970. For instance, while it is still true today that, quote, the Krishna consciousness movement is trying to convert misguided, drug addicted students to the service of Krishna and engage them in the best welfare activities for human society, end quote. This is a reference from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 5, Text 18, purport. Continuing, such students are no longer the prime focus of ISKCON's preaching. Similarly, it is no longer true that, quote, hippies are our best customers, end quote. This is a reference from letter 13 July 1969. An anachronism appears even within the opening words of Srila Prabhupada's presentation of Srimad Bhagavatam. The quote, the world tendency is toward one state or one human society, end quote. There is a reference. This is the preface of Srimad Bhagavatam. Because circumstances in ISKCON today are in some ways different from when Srila Prabhupada was present, understanding how to act in a manner most pleasing to him may not be as straightforward as simply assembling a list of quotes. For instance, faith in ISKCON authorities has much declined since the time of Srila Prabhupada's manifest presence, and it is no longer the norm that devotees in positions of authority expect to be respected and submitted to at the level that Srila Prabhupada instituted and demanded. Essential in understanding Srila Prabhupada's teachings is that he is not, nor ever claimed to be, an authority unto himself. He always presented himself as a faithful transmitter of the teachings of the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya and emphasized the primacy of the revealed scriptures. There's a reference here, description, a quick comment. Hence, all of Srila Prabhupada's teachings and initiatives, as outlined in this book, could be further analyzed in light of the teachings of the previous acharyas. Such analysis could be exhaustive and, although important, is beyond the scope of this book. Continuing,
Okay.
Srila
Hari.
Narottama. Yes, Prabhu.
It is written, something else also is written on the same quote that
Yes, Prabhu, but that continues on the next page.
okay. See, also representative of the Sampradaya, the epistemic basis. No problem. You can read. You can continue to read. It's okay.
Srila Narottama Das Thakur says, Sadhu Shastra Guru Vakya Chittete Kariya Aikya. One should accept a thing as genuine by studying the words of saintly people, the spiritual master, and the Shastra. The actual center is the Shastra, the revealed scripture. If a spiritual master does not speak according to the revealed scripture, he is not to be accepted. Similarly, if a saintly person does not speak according to the Shastra, he is not a saintly person. The Shastra is the center for all. There is a reference here, number 46. This is a reference to the purport from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Uh, this must be Madhya Leela, chapter 20, verse 352. Continuing, a major hermeneutical mistake arises when Srila Prabhupada's words are not considered in the context of Shastra and tradition. This was de facto the norm. Hare Krishna.
Now for Srila Prabhupada, early follow. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu.
What happened?
There was some disconnect, Prabhu, for briefly.
Okay. Yeah, you can read again. A major hermeneutical mistake.
A major hermeneutical mistake arises when Srila Prabhupada's words are not considered in the context of Shastra and tradition. This was de facto the norm for Srila Prabhupada's early followers, who, having been raised in a wholly dissimilar culture, differed from untold generations of previous Vaishnavas in having.
Oh, you are, it's, I'm sorry.
Prabhu, it's getting muted somehow.
No, actually, sorry, I'm very sorry. It is written as Mangala Bhakti Devi Dasi.
Yeah, that's me, Prabhu.
Okay.
I joined your account.
I'm very sorry. I was thinking somebody else is there because you're Vamshuli. Where is Vamshuli? I didn't see that. So that's why I was muting because some disturbance I would see from there. So I'm sorry.
Sorry, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
No, I didn't know that. Yeah. Okay.
Continuing, in having no background whatsoever in Shastra or Vedic tradition, rather than seeing Srila Prabhupada as a representative of a much broader tradition, they tended to take Srila Prabhupada as all in all, an impression that was reinforced by Srila Prabhupada's continually warning them not to be misled by the multifarious misrepresentations of Shastra and Vedic tradition. However, not wanting to perpetuate misconceptions about himself, Srila Prabhupada always taught the importance of understanding his position in relation to Shastra and tradition to be the same as that of all gurus, past, present, and future. Another critical point is that Srila Prabhupada's words and actions did not always correspond with what he actually wanted, and thus not everything that he allowed should be considered canonical and become mainstream. As Hari Shauri Das noted, sometimes in Srila Prabhupada's presence, devotees would chant songs other than what Srila Prabhupada had given, and Srila Prabhupada would not say anything and would let them continue. But then, if a devotee specifically asked him about that chanting, Srila Prabhupada would express disapproval. But other devotees present would wrongly assume that Srila Prabhupada's not publicly commenting on that chant signified his approval of it. There's a reference here, 201, that is 37 in the book. Harishauri Das, personal correspondence with Bhaktivikas Swami Maharaj.
Prabhu,
Yes, Prabhu.
I can request somebody else's to read. Is it okay?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Shri Prabhuji, shall I try?
Who is please introduce yourself and you can.
Myself, I am Chandrarekha Devdasi from Vellore.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Vamshali Prabhu, for reading. So,
I'm
Thank you.
seeing in the book and I'm seeing
yes,
in the book.
Mataji, no problem. You can see the book and read. No problem. Yes.
Shall I start, Prabhuji?
Yes.
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada often masked his actual intentions when dealing with disciples who he knew were unready to accept his direct orders. When sending Dhananjaya Dada to be president in Vrindavana, Srila Prabhupada told him, "There's just one difficulty. Harikesha is in Vrindavana and he thinks he is the temple president. So you have to keep it secret." Dhananjaya Dasa noted that Srila Prabhupada was so diplomatic because he didn't want to upset Harikesha. Reference 202. Prabhuji, but in the book it says 48, but here
No
it
problem.
says.
No, you need not read the number of the reference, because when there is reference, immediately I will click. You can read from here, because book you need to turn all the way at the back and then read it.
Fine.
So it is easier for me to click and you can read from here.
Fine. Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you. Upset with the disturbing presence of many devotee women and children in the ISKCON Vrindavana guest house, Srila Prabhupada instructed a leader to tell them to leave, yet not to tell them that Srila Prabhupada had ordered this, or they will think I am a woman hater. Reference 203, told by Tejiyas Dasa. In Mayapur, an American disciple with a guitar had been causing considerable trouble for the devotee community because of his violent temper, and almost all the devotees were apprehensive of his presence. Srila Prabhupada heard different complaints and one day told the devotee, "You sing so nicely. Why don't you and your wife travel all over the world singing to attract people to Krishna consciousness?" Very nice. Greatly encouraged, the devotees soon left Mayapur. On the authority of Srila Prabhupada, he walked off singing with his guitar. Although no one can know the mind of Acharya, and although Srila Prabhupada never said that he had sent away a troublesome devotee by suggesting that he travel and sing, nevertheless, most of the devotees in Mayapur could not help but appreciate how Srila Prabhupada was masterfully solving problems. Reference Satsvarupa Dasa Goswami, Srila Prabhupada Nectar 2.29. After narrating an incident in which he pressured Srila Prabhupada to accede to his using guitars in Kirtana, Bhurijana Dasa commented, "Our spiritual master may sometimes agree to our requests because we present them forcefully, but that does not necessarily mean it is Krishna's desire. We should be careful that our own enthusiastic vision does not cover our ability to recognize our Guru's actual desires." 205 and 206 reference, Bhuri Janadasa by My Glorious Master, chapter 13. An example of Srila Prabhupada's endorsing and
You can read this. Hare Krishna. There's another reference you can read.
Yeah, see also, sometimes Srila Prabhupada let disciples have their own way because he knew that they were not prepared to accept his order. Our spiritual master endorsing an initiative without much proving it occurred when
Sorry.
Proposed Haribol. Sorry.
Where is this you're reading?
No, now I'm reading from the screen, Prabhuji, what you're sharing. Because the references I had to turn to the iPad and check. That's why. Now I just closed the book. I'm from the screen.
Yeah, an example of Srila Prabhupada's answers. Okay.
Yes, correct. An
Yeah.
example of Sri Prabhupada's endorsing an initiative without much proving it occurred. Two female disciples proposed setting up an ashram in a remote rural area. Srila Prabhupada endorsed this 207 reference.
Oh. Sometimes it is not. I'm not able to see that. It's okay. You can continue to read, Mataji.
But advised them to not make a large program, to live in very, very humble and simple life, and refused them alone. 208 reference. Letter 13th January 1976. To the GPC of the area, Srila Prabhupada wrote, they want to live independently. That is the defect. A woman cannot live independent. According to the Vedic culture, a woman is always to be protected by a man. Reference 209.
Yeah.
Another letter, 13th January 1976. Without disclosing to the woman his dissatisfaction concerning their defect, Srila Prabhupada continued to encourage them while iterating that they not expand activities. He told them to go on with your program and assured them that this simple life will make you perfect. 210 reference letter 21st February 1976. Readers need not be discouraged by this brief diversion into philosophical technicalities, as the core of this book consists of numerous quotations from Srila Prabhupada, most of which should be readily understandable and acceptable to his followers. However, a few issues concerning his instructions have led to quotes and counter quotes being bandied about in support of contending positions. 211 reference examples of such issues, whether conditioned souls were formerly in the spiritual world, the dispensation of spiritual initiation in ISKCON after Srila Prabhupada's departure, and gender roles among devotees. Although such disagreements increasingly seem to characterize our movement, they are not the core subject of this book. Still, some further analysis of their provenance is in order.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you very much. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Mitra Govinda Prabhu.
Prabhuji, my voice is not all right. Next time I will read.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah. I got a throat.
Okay, no problem. Shyam Swarup Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Sorry, Shyam Swarup, yesterday you read, na?
Yes, I
Rupananda
read
Prabhu.
yesterday, Prabhu.
Okay, Prabhu. Rupananda Prabhu. Are you there?
Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Please, can you please continue to read? After Rupananda Prabhu, because this section of Vani and Bapu is very, 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 very big. You can read it is it goes to around from in the book it goes from 48th page to around what It goes till 62. That means around it is 20-30 pages. It is there. Only about Pani and Bapu. So this is very, very important. So we'll read as far as possible until the time goes, and then we'll continue. Okay. So Rupanand Prabhu, please continue to read. And then if I would request sometime Mrigakshi Mataji, if you are there, so kindly be ready to read next. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes,
Vani
sir.
and Vapu. There are two ways of association, by Vani and by Vapu. Vani means words and Vapu means physical presence. Reference Chaitanya Charitamrita, concluding words. Remembrance of Srila
Ano-
Prabhupada.
Another reference, please read.
Another reference. Vani literally words understood contextually to means message or instructions. Vapu literally body understood contextually to mean personal association. Remembrance of Srila Prabhupada tends to focus on his achievements and on his anecdotes that reveals facets of his divine personality. Srila Prabhupada's transcendental qualities certainly endeared him to his disciple, but his main contribution is his message. He himself privilege, privileged Vani over Vapu, thus making it clear that what is most important about him is his teachings. Personal association with great devotees, Vapu is always recommended as a major factor in spiritual advancement. Reference Chaitanya Charitamrita 2.22.83. The naturally perfect Krishna conscious behavior of a pure devotee inspires faith in others that the Krishna consciousness of which he speaks is both real and attainable. Satyanarayan Das opined, it has been emphasized that the instructions of the spiritual master are most important. But I think that Vapu being in his personal presence is equally important because Vapu gives you faith in one. As Shast
Yeah.
reference, Satyanarayan Das in Prabhupada's Memories, Volume 28. As Shastra repeatedly emphasizes, personal association with pure devotees can be extraordinarily transformative, and as was repeatedly seen, if quote a few minutes with Srila Prabhupada can change anyone's life, end quote. Reference 59. Hari Sori Das, TD Volume 1, Chapter 9.
Transcendental diary. That is pretty much
Transcendental Diaries.
transcendental.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Many people became Krishna conscious by having seen Prabhupada only once or having heard a few words that ignited the fire of devotion in their hearts. Reference Achyutananda Das, Blazing Sadhus. Several devotees, upon seeing Srila Prabhupada, especially for the first time, spontaneously become overcome with emotion and uncontrollably gushed forth tears. Some disciples who initially could barely comprehend Srila Prabhupada's philosophic explanations nevertheless took to Krishna consciousness largely due to the power of his personal presence, especially the conviction that he exuded. Reference C. Convictions. His faith is so solid and steady, and his confidence so great that it permeates his entire existence and it spreads outwardly to others. Reference Govinda Dasi, A Place of Sandalwood and Roses, page 265. He was so potent that just by his touch, everything expanded and changed. Reference this sentence is from Tamal Krishna Goswami, Servant of the Servants, chapter 3. His presence is so intense and purifying. Sat Swarup Das Goswami Prabhupada's Meditations 4.5.14. And the influence of his bhakti so strong that people became convinced not only by being with him, but even by hearing about him from others or witnessing how he had enriched others. Krishna sends pure devotees to this world to exhibit the qualities of pure devotees. Reference C. Srimad Bhagavatam 7.10.3, text and purport, which was specially needed in the West, where most people were entirely ignorant about Krishna consciousness and could not have begun to adopt it without someone to show them how. Pushta Krishna. I don't think that Americans or Westerners would have accepted even your teaching as clear as they are without having your personal association and seeing your example. I think people would have thought that it is a totally impossible to do such a thing. Reference conversation dated 22 April 1976. Hari sorry. It would have remained theoretical, but because you came and showed a practical example, then everything has become very easy. As Leela Avatar Devi Dasi put it, if Prabhupada had never come to the West and sacrificed the way he did, how would the most precious holy name have come into our lives? Leela Avatar Dasi in a bond of love. Srila Prabhupada himself confirmed, if I had not gone, then this institution would not have developed. Reference conversation 5th September 1976. It was not philosophical understanding that kept his early disciples going. They had very little of it, but the impact Srila Prabhupada made upon them. This became clear to Professor Thomas Hopkins, who, as one of the first Western scholar of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, became excited upon learning that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings had come to America. He recounted, someone in the spring of 1967, people handed me clippings from New York newspaper saying that there was a Swami in New York City. So I went to New York to look up this person and his movement. My first contact was with disciples apart from Bhaktivedanta Swami, and I was frankly somewhat disappointed. They seemed to be not very informed about what they were doing. They were unclear about the whole thing, and yet they were terribly serious and terribly devoted to what they were about. And I couldn't put those two pieces together. Their confusion, uncertainty on the one hand, and their commitment on the other, until I met Bhaktivedanta Swami. And as soon as I met him, which was after several visits to the temple, I realized that this was the person who really made the whole thing go.
Oh, one second. Oh, okay. Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah.
Dr. Thomas Hopkins in your Ever Well-Wisher movie. While discussing the importance of recorded memories of Srila Prabhupada, Satyanarayan Das marveled at the fortune of being in Prabhupada's personal presence and at how persons who even hear about his activities can understand that he was not just a human being, not even just a pure devotee. No, in the history of Vaishnav culture, Prabhupada's contribution is unique.
Okay, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare
So
Krishna.
you can read the reference.
Reference Satyanarayan Das in Prabhupada's Memories, Volume 28. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, thank you very much. Actually, it's already 8:17, so 18. So we would stop here tomorrow. Sorry, Mataji, I thought that we will continue, but so we will continue tomorrow, and we will end the session here. And if devotees have any questions, they can ask. Otherwise, the session is ended. If you want, you can leave. And if any devotees have any questions, then they can unmute their mic and they can ask.
Prabhuji, are we having class tomorrow also?
This one. Yes, Mataji. Actually, I put it in the WhatsApp group that many devotees wanted. So the poll, we run the poll and we got yes for many devotees have come up with yes than for no. So that's why we have the session.
Fine. Okay, Prabhuji. No problem. Hare Krishna.
If nobody has any questions, then we can end the session over here. Okay. So we will meet tomorrow at the same time, 7:15. Until then, thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Hare Bol.
सकलपतरूपेस्य कृपासिन्धुभ्यः च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो
Pतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनन्तकोटि वैष्णव।
Hare Krishna. Dandavad Pranam.